So, this is probably going to be about spending and money and materialistic bullshit and experience as well. I at least guess. This is my assumption, but I don't know. But more now, after the intro, actually, yeah. With that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And I'm pumped. Probably shouldn't. My God, what's going on? As I said before, we are going through another article, and this is an article from the CNBC makeit.com site, or it's actually cnbc.com//makeit. I think it's actually make-it or something. I'm not quite sure. And it's, something grabbed my attention, Something grabbed my attention. By the way, if you want to listen to this podcast or if you want to listen to this particular YouTube video, then the link is down in the description because this is actually a podcast, but you're also having the ability to watch the YouTube video, especially also for the people that are listening to this podcast right now. And if you actually truly want to have a look at the YouTube video, the link should be also down in the description, for all the people that actually want to have something to watch, want to have something to look at, want to have something like that. It's totally possible as well. But it's probably a little bit smaller here because it's nicer there. Because this article just grabbed my attention. It says, it's not just experiences, spending on objects makes us happy too. It's actually a really fucked up sentence, first of all. And second of all, I don't know. I don't know if I should believe in it. I don't know if this is actually something that I would sign, something that I would suggest to do. But this is the reason why I'm actually interested in going through this one. What the fuck? It's a long one. It's really long. But yeah, I'm still going to read it, I guess. And I'm still going to read it for you, I guess. So it is in the spend section. I didn't even know that there is a spend section. Just by the way, as you can see, Jeff Bezos on the very top of the page here. And yesterday, I've actually seen the news that Jeff Bezos is now the second richest person on Earth, just because the Facebook stocks, not Facebook, but Amazon stocks fell again by, I think it is actually 20% or something. So it's actually a relatively significant number, which leaves him with, I think it's 103 billion from 106. Like it's or even less, I guess. I think it's actually been more. It's been quite a few billion, which makes Bill Gates again the richest man on Earth. But I still kind of feel like, okay, they actually do not give a fuck about who's the richest now and who's not the richest and who's the second richest person. I don't know. I at least assume. So it's not just experiences. Spending on objects makes us happy too. And it is published on Thursday, the 24th. Yeah. of October 2019, and as always the link is going to be down in the description, so if you want to check it out as well, especially if this video is going to be a year old or maybe even older, then you're also going to be able to check out this article just because it's linked down in the description, also in the show notes if you're on the podcast. So my parents always joked, money doesn't buy happiness, but let's find out just to be sure. As it turns out, much of what we know about the link between money and well-being is oversimplified. Money can buy happiness, and not just when it affords us the security of having enough to pay the bills or save for the future. As an April 2019 study found, changes in life satisfaction are associated with changes in consumption and not changes in income. So changes in life satisfaction are associated with changes in consumption and not changes in income. Which leads me to thinking like, okay, if it is not about income, then it's also not going to be about money. But if it's about consumption, then, but we're talking about it, I guess, Despite the recent trend toward minimalism, it seems that buying stuff makes us happy, or buying stuff makes us happy. While we may be reluctant to admit it, there is benefit to acknowledging the influence of consumption on our happiness. Namely, when we are willing to understand and work with the complexities of our financial behaviors, we may have a better chance at improving our habits. If we acknowledge that there is something going on with spending and that spending might make us a little bit more happy, even though a little bit, I'm definitely doubting that a little bit at least. But still, I guess, and this is also something that you've probably seen before, a lot of people that have just given out or that have spread out some sort of a financial plan or some financial advice, they have often also been talking about having a quote-unquote bucket for things that you just want to have. You know, you're having a savings bucket, then you're having a investing in stocks or investing in general bucket, and then there's going to be a bucket for things that you just can buy without feeling bad for buying it, you know. And this is actually something that I'm seeing very often. This is actually what I've always seen with those financial things. I'm not having something like that. I'm not spending my money on anything, which might also not be the best thing. You know, the thing is, I'm trying to just get happy through I don't know, doing what I like to do and just living for the long term or something. I don't actually know. But something that I can definitely admit is that there is definitely a trend towards minimalism. And I don't know about this as well. You know, it could be something that's good. It could also be something that's not that good, but I'm not quite sure. So while we may be reluctant, I've read that already, I do believe that yes, money can buy you happiness. Ramit Sethi, author of the New York Times bestseller I Will Teach You to Be Rich, tells CNBC Make It. And personally, I don't want to have to skip 2,500 avocado toasts and 1,200. Yeah, is it 1,200? So it's 12,000. You know, no, it's not 1,200, but it's 120 hundreds. Yeah, actually. Latest, so that maybe in 3 million years I can finally start living my life. Personal finance experts often argue that spending money on experiences can be one of the best ways to buy happiness. This might mean saving for a vacation, getting groceries delivered, or hiring a housekeeper. A poll by Harris Group found that 72% of millennials prefer spending on experiences over material objectives, and a series of studies from Cornell found that subjects were indeed happier spending their money this way. What was it? Found subjects were indeed happier spending their money on this way. I actually have to just close that one down. Can you hear that? That's my neck. That's my back. Oh, always nice to just stretch out a little bit when you're having some days where you're sitting a lot, because I don't know, sitting is definitely not the most healthiest thing you can be doing in your leisure time. You know, definitely move every single day. At least walk. You know, at least just go for a walk. At least do something like that. It's truly important. You know, at least at my point of view. However, this outcome varies depending on your financial background, argues Wendy Wood, a professor of psychology and business at the University of Southern California and author of the forthcoming book, Good Habits, Bad Habits, the Psychology of Making Positive Changes That Stick. This simple answer to the question of how to best spend your money doesn't consider the huge economic disparities in our society, she tells CNBC Make It. Along with Jacob Lee of the Ulsan National Institute of Science and Technology and Deepora Hall of Arizona State University, Dr. Wood and her colleagues studied how social class determines purchase happiness. Their research found that people who were less financially advantaged, partially measured by income, occupation, and education, reported just as much, if not more, happiness from spending on material objects over experiences. This was true for both short and long-term happiness. People of higher social class have an abundance of resources, which means they can afford to focus more on internal growth and self-development, Dr. Wood says. And this is actually something that totally makes sense for me. Like, of course, if you're not having a lot of money, it's going to be just a lot of pleasure if you're able to spend your money on some things that you always wanted to have, whether it be a new phone. This might also be one of the reasons why people that are poorer, that are not really that educated, that are not that quote-unquote rich as some other people are, that they're actually consuming way more than anybody else in society. This is actually something that I've seen by having a look at, was it a study? Like it was some, I forgot what it was called, but it was somehow like a graphic where you were able to see like the it's not demographics, but psychographics, yeah, the psychographics of people. And something that you were able to see is that high consumption is actually a really big part of the poorer let's actually say poorer layers of, it's not layers, what the fuck, poorer parts of society. So the thing is, I've seen that most often in Austria it is actually the case, or it is the case. I don't know what it is like in other countries, but in Austria it is the case that those people that are not having a lot of money are still consuming way more than anybody else. This is something that I've seen, and it is also very interesting. And I think it is some sort of a vicious cycle, isn't it? Because if you're poor and you're spending a lot, then there's not going to be a lot of money left. There's definitely not going to be a lot of money left for maybe even health-related things and those kind of scenarios and reasons and things and whatever, which was pretty interesting and pretty also amazing to see, and also a little bit fucked up to see as well, just because it's such a, I don't know, you could assume that that it is the case that people that are not having a lot of money are still consuming quite a lot, but I don't know. I actually didn't want to believe it before, because I always thought people are not going to be that, I don't want to say stupid, because it's not the correct word, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's actually a vicious cycle, and you can understand that and whatnot, but yeah. People who are less financially advantaged, this is just a quote. In other words, the more financially advantaged you are, the more likely you already have the material goods you want, which then shifts your consumer values to experiences. But Roger Ma, and New York-based certified financial planner, and New York-based certified financial planner and founder of Life Laid Out, says that thinking about spending in terms of experiences versus objects may be limited. I like going to nice restaurants and traveling, and I would probably choose them over buying a fancy piece of clothing or bag, Ma tells CNBC Make It, but material goods could in fact add a lot of value to your life on a daily basis than those experiences. For example, a new phone that just makes you way more productive, that makes your photos, because it's having a third camera or maybe even a fifth camera, way better. There's so many different things that also material goods can just do to your everyday living, I guess. Just really those things, being able to capture things, being able to be a little bit more efficient, being able to be a little bit more faster. I don't know if clothing as such is going to make you that happy, unless it is actually some sort of a cultural thing, which means that people are going to recognize it and people are going to just appreciate it if you're just looking cool to them, which then is a reason why you're buying this shit, just because you then look cool to the people and you're getting the appreciation and the recognition of those people. Something that is definitely happening, but I don't know. But I don't know if this is such a big part of that, such a big part of being happy by buying materialistic things. But yeah, I don't know. The flat screen TV, for example, buys the experience of binge watching your favorite show, then talking about the show with your friends. And that's actually a pretty huge part. Traditional financial advice like don't buy the late or the latte is problematic because it is so general and doesn't take into account the highly subjective and personal relationship between your own spending and happiness. Because if spending, as they also say, because I'm actually reading, if spending $4 on your daily boba tea makes you happy, who's to say that's wrong? When people judge your spending habits, it can feel like a judgment on your values, almost like they're telling you we are approaching happiness wrong, especially if you already feel financially stressed, as many of us are. It's exhausting to feel the need to justify every dollar you spend in the name of personal comfort. But the truth is, your overall financial health is important too. There are certain approaches to personal finance that might work better with all of this in mind. And I have to say, of course, having a new phone, actually in my case, having a new phone would be actually pretty cool, because mine is really slow, mine is really old, mine is really not working as it was working 5 years ago, because this is the point or the point of time when it was released, is actually a pretty old phone. I'm having the iPhone 5S. Now we are at 11. It is something. There's definitely just a big the thing is, it would just, as I said before, it would make everything a little bit more efficient for me. It's not really about just having the status or some bullshit like that. It is about having something that works just as I want it to working just that I'm able to work with it efficiently and all those things. Like, of course, I could just, reset it again and all those things to just make it fast again. But this involves work and those things. But something that I've seen and something that I've recognized is that people most often spend their money on just being comfortable, spending their money on just things they do not really need, but sometimes paying extra is going to make your life a little bit easier. For example, those electro scooters that might be in your just town as well. In mine it's not, but where I'm attending school, there are just a bunch of those electrical scooters or e-scooters that you can just rent and then drive, and they're really not cheap. They really are not cheap. Maybe compared to just taking a car and whatnot, it's probably going to be cheaper, but compared to just walking by foot or just walking or running and whatnot, they're definitely expensive, because I think they charge like 20 cents per minute, and this would be like $2. No, I think it's actually more. This actually is okay if it would be 20 cents per minute. The problem is, it is per minute. It is not per mile or per kilometer. It's per minute, which means that if there is some red light, if there is some problems and whatnot, then you're fucked. Unless you're kind of just unrending it again, and then renting it again when the green light is, which is something that you could be doing, but who the fuck does that? But yeah, you know what I mean. Like, also those sliced tomatoes or those sliced... Actually, something that I've seen is that sliced tomatoes... Sliced tomatoes were just in one of the supermarkets that I am when I'm in school to just get myself some lunch. And I'm always trying to be as cheap as I possibly can be. Like, it is insane sometimes. Like, the money that I've spent last year, especially because this year I'm always just taking my food from home with me, so that I'm not having to buy something in school, which saves me quite, like, I don't know, like $5 a week or something, probably around that, because I normally would have spent like $2 or something on my lunch, which is something that's really fucking fine. Like, it really is fine. And the thing is, like, some people spend $20 each fucking break and each fucking lunch break. Like, it is okay, it is fine, because a lot of people are probably valuing just food a little bit higher than I'm doing it. Because for me, the thing is, if I'm able to eat it, if I'm able to just consume it, and I do not really have to feel bad about consuming it, then it's fine, everything is good. It doesn't even have to taste that well, If I'm able to consume it, and it is also really cheap, and it is healthy, then it is just fine. It is totally fine then. But some people are valuing some things differently than I'm doing it. For me, I don't know. For me, something that's relatively valuable is, I don't know, sports, for example. Like, if I would need to pay for being able to do sports, I guess, then I would actually also pay for it, I guess. And some people would be like, okay, no, I'm not paying for just doing sport. I could just be doing it this way and that way and whatnot. So there's definitely, everyone associates different value with different things, and this is also good like that, because like we all individuals, and this is just really beautiful. And now there's gonna be some tips, and I'm gonna read the headlines because reading the whole one is going to fuck my voice. I'm not really into that. Start with a solid foundation, which means saving a little bit, I guess. Then do a spending audit. Just look at what you're spending your money on, And then the thing is, if you know what you're spending your money on, then you're also able to figure out how you could actually move things so that you're able to to just actually buy those things that you would like to buy without feeling guilty, without feeling bad for it. Focus on big wins. I encourage my readers to ignore the $3 question like, should I buy this coffee? And instead think more deeply about the big wins. Sethi says he defines big wins as financial moves that have the most meaningful impact. The thing is compound interest. If you're buying yourself a $3 coffee every single day, it's going to be $90 a month, which is something. Set a limit for obligatory spending. And this is then it. And this is also going to be it with the article here. Let's maybe actually see what the news say. Because I think this episode's going to be for tomorrow, actually. Like, it's always a little bit fucked up. Today is actually Austria's National Day, I think it's called. I'm not quite sure. Let's actually check it out. I don't even know. Never mind. I think... is there actually an English page of Wikipedia around that? Would actually be pretty nice. I could translate it, but like it's there is not even an English page for that. But there is an old picture. Well, it's from 2008. It's not that old. But let's actually see. Let's actually see what the news say. If there's something interesting there. And because we are in the news section, we could also be doing it like that. And we're having 54 degrees Fahrenheit. This is nice, but I can't just do something with it. Are they having a new layout right now? Is it actually like, no, they're not. But there's something like, can't I? Oh, thanks. New images of rumored AirPods Pro charging case. This is something that I want to check out. Like, the thing is with AirPods, I've heard that they actually sound pretty well, that they're really not that bad and whatnot, but they're just so convenient, They have, but actually by having a look at them, is it smaller? It just could be smaller, but I'm not quite sure. Previously leaked images were of lower quality, showing the plastic enclosures of the upcoming AirPods. The original leaks were initially dismissed until icons matching the designs were found a recent iOS 13.2 beta release. Multiple reports have suggested that the new higher-end AirPods could be launching imminently. These new AirPods are expected to have noise-cancelling technology as well as a higher price tag than the current AirPods. The thing is, with noise-cancelling, is it working with them? Because they're not really isolating as they are. They're really not such isolative. If you can say that, I don't fucking know. But yeah, Walmart drops the price of Xbox One S ahead of Black Friday. Are we having Black Friday soon? I don't know. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, every returning character and what they mean for the future. I think it was actually launched yesterday, wasn't it? COD Modern Warfare, just the relaunch or the redone thing. I don't know. Somehow Android's messaging mess is about to get even worse. 8 spooky Halloween tricks you didn't know your Echo could do. What the fuck? The Pixel 4 box is hiding an AR Easter egg. This is something that I want to see. Unless it's a YouTube video, then I'm not going to watch it. No, it's not. I do just want to have a picture. Like, it's a video. I'm not quite sure if I can show that without getting fucked. I'm a little bit like concerned that I'm getting fucked by showing that and then uploading it again to YouTube. But yeah, I guess it is actually going to be the end of the episode, and I guess this is going to just be it. I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success, and I also hope that you're going to remind yourself of you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, because we can totally change it, because it means that you're going to be just a nice person and being remembered as a nice person. The problem there is that we're 7.7 billion people on this planet, which means that not everyone's going to like you, and maybe even some people are going to hate you, maybe even 1,000 people are going to hate you. But other 3 questions that I hope that you're going to ask yourself are, why are you here, what are you trying to change, and what is bothering you the most? Because those 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, since a lot of companies started out with fixing something that the founders really were pissed off by. Yeah. If you have liked the episode, please subscribe to the channel, and also please subscribe to the podcast to never miss out on anything else. And I'll see you the next time. At least I hope that I'm gonna do that.